Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. If you ignore what heaven is whispering to you on January 13 and 14, God will pull something back from your life. But it's not what you think. And you need to hear this before midnight tonight. Listen to me. You've lived long enough to know the difference between a preacher trying to scare you and a voice trying to save you. You've heard 1,000 final warnings in your lifetime, haven't you? From pulpits, from the evening news, from doctors, from your own family standing over hospital beds. This is your last chance. Don't miss it. And most of the time, it just filled you with fear. But here's what nobody told you. God's final warnings aren't about punishment, they're about protection. He's not pulling back his love, he's pulling back the illusions, the fake doors, the dead-end roads you keep chasing because you think they'll finally give you peace. Think about it like this. You ever leave someone a voicemail they never listened to? You waited, you called again, you left another message, and eventually you stopped calling. Not because you stopped caring, but because they stopped answering. That's what's happening right now. God has been calling. He's been leaving voicemails on your spirit for months, maybe years. And on January 13 and 14, if you don't pick up, he will pull back certain doors that were never meant to open for you anyway. Not to hurt you, to redirect you. Because here's the truth they don't preach anymore. Sometimes God's mercy looks like a slammed door. If your chest just tightened when I said that, I want you to do something right now. Type in the comments, "I'm listening, Lord." Don't think about it, just do it. That's you answering the call. That's you saying, "I'm not ignoring this anymore." Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the one thing God will absolutely pull back on January 13 to 14 if you keep walking past it, and the 3 things he will never ever pull back from you, even if you fail the test. This isn't about fear, this is about alignment. And, chosen one, you didn't land here by accident. Heaven made sure you saw this. Now the question is, are you going to listen? Let me talk to you the way I'd talk to my own mother, the way I'd talk to my own grandfather if he was still here. All your life, people have used fear to control you, haven't they? You've sat in church pews where preachers slammed the pulpit and screamed, "If you don't come to this altar right now, God is done with you." You've opened mail from ministries that said, "Send this seed by midnight or lose your blessing forever." You've watched late-night TV evangelists point at the camera and shout, "This is your final warning, don't miss it." And every single time, something in your chest tightened, didn't it? Because deep down, you wondered if it was true. You wondered if God really was that angry, that impatient, that ready to walk away from you. But let me tell you something, chosen one. That is not the voice of your Father. That's the voice of religion. And religion has been lying to you about what a final warning actually means. See, the God of the Bible, the God who knit you together in your mother's womb, the God who kept your heart beating through wars and losses and betrayals and hospital rooms, he is slow to anger, he is rich in mercy, he is patient with his children. Psalm 86:15 says it plain, "You, Lord, are a compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness." Slow to anger, not quick to abandon, not waiting for you to mess up so he can pull the rug out from under you. So when heaven issues a final warning, it's not God saying, "I'm leaving you." It's God saying, "I love you too much to let you stay like this." Think about it. When a doctor tells you, "This is your final warning, you have to change your diet or you won't make it another year." Is he punishing you? No. He's protecting you. He's seen the test results. He knows what's coming if you don't shift. And because he cares, he won't sugarcoat it. That's what's happening right now. God has seen the test results of your soul. And he's stepping in, not with condemnation, but with a scalpel. Religion put you in a courtroom. But God has you in an operating room. And there's a difference, chosen one. A courtroom is about judgment. An operating room is about healing. In a courtroom, you defend yourself. In an operating room, you surrender. You let the surgeon cut away what's killing you, even if it hurts. That's what January 13 and 14 represent. Not punishment, surgery. Now I need you to listen to me closely, because this is where it gets personal. You've survived things that should have destroyed you. I don't know your story, but God does. Maybe it was the death of a spouse that left you hollow for years. Maybe it was children who walked away and never looked back. Maybe it was a diagnosis the doctors said you'd never outlive. Maybe it was a betrayal so deep you stopped trusting anyone, even yourself. But you're still here. And if you're still here, still breathing, still clicking on messages like this at your age, still whispering prayers in the middle of the night when no one's watching, then you already passed a test that almost killed you. I'm going to name that test later in this message. And when I do, you're going to feel tears in your eyes, because you're going to realize what you survived. You're going to realize that every breath you're taking right now is a miracle heaven fought for. But here's the dangerous part. Here's why this warning matters. Just because you survived doesn't mean you've healed. Just because you're breathing doesn't mean you're alive. And God will not let you coast into eternity on survival mode when He designed you for resurrection mode. That's what He's pulling back. Not His love, not His promises, not your salvation. He's pulling back the things you've been clinging to that were never meant to hold you. The fake comforts, the numbing habits, the bitter thoughts you replay every morning, the doors you keep knocking on that He already closed 3 years ago. Romans 2-4 says, God's kindness is meant to lead you to repentance, not fear. Kindness. His kindness pulls you toward change, not His anger. So if right now, something in you is stirring, if you feel your chest tightening again, but this time it's not fear, it's recognition, then just whisper it, right where you are. Thank you, Jesus. You're not talking to a screen. You're answering heaven. And chosen one, if you just said that, even under your breath, you need to understand what just happened. You didn't stumble into this message. You were summoned. God has been circling you for weeks, maybe months, trying to get your attention. And on January 13 and 14, He's drawing the final circle. The question is, will you step inside it? Or will you keep running from the very thing that's trying to save you? Because what I'm about to show you next will change everything. Chosen one. Let me tell you something most preachers won't say out loud. The calendar hanging on your kitchen wall, the one with your doctor's appointments and your grandkids' birthdays penciled in, that's not the only clock that's ticking over your life. There are two kinds of time in this world. The Greeks had words for them, chronos and kairos. Chronos is what you measure in hours and minutes. It's the time that runs whether you're paying attention or not. It's the clock that ticked while you raised your kids, buried your parents, worked those decades at jobs that wore you down. Chronos is relentless. It doesn't care about your pain. It just keeps moving. But then there's kairos. Kairos is God's time. It's appointed time. Divine intersections, moments that weigh more than other moments, days that carry eternal significance, even though they look ordinary on paper. January 13 and 14 are kairos days, not because there's magic in the numbers, not because some prophet marked them on a calendar 2,000 years ago, but because heaven is using these 48 hours as a threshold, a line in the sand, a moment where God is asking you one question. Are you going to keep living like a victim of time, or are you finally going to accept that time has been working for you all along? I know what you're thinking. Working for me? I'm in my 60s, my 70s, maybe older. I look back at my 30s and 40s and all I see are missed opportunities, failed marriages, dreams I buried, because life got too hard. How has time been working for me? Here's what nobody told you. What if the truth is the exact opposite of what you've believed? What if time wasn't stealing from you? What if time was circling you like a bodyguard, blocking doors that would have destroyed you before you were ready? Think about it. That business you didn't start in 1987. That move you didn't make in 1995. That relationship you walked away from in 2003. You've beaten yourself up for years, haven't you? Told yourself you were too scared, too weak, too late. But what if God was protecting you? What if those closed doors weren't failures, they were mercies? What if heaven knew that opening that door back then would have crushed you under weight you couldn't carry yet? God doesn't waste time, He redeems it. Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for good. Not some things, all things. Even the delays, even the detours, even the decades you think you wasted. But here's where it gets urgent. On January 13 and 14, heaven is drawing a line. God is saying, I've been circling you, I've been protecting you, I've been preparing you. But if you choose fear instead of trust on these 2 days, I will pull back something you've been chasing that was never meant for you. And no, it's not your salvation, it's not His love. God doesn't play games with your soul, but here's what He will pull back: the illusion, the fake door, the dead-end road you've been staring at, thinking it's your last chance. Because some of you are still trying to force open doors God sealed shut 10 years ago. Some of you are still mourning opportunities that would have destroyed you. Some of you are still angry at heaven for saying no when that no was the kindest thing God ever did for you. January 13 and 14 are the days God is asking you to stop fighting Him, stop forcing, stop demanding your own way. Because if you keep pushing against His timing, He will pull back His hand and let you have what you think you want. And that, chosen one, is the most terrifying thing that could happen to you. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Notice it doesn't say, He'll make your paths easy. It says straight, direct, aligned. But alignment requires surrender, and surrender requires you to stop looking at the clock on the wall and start listening to the rhythm of heaven. So here's what I need you to do right now. If the years have ever made you feel like you're too late, if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, God can't use someone my age, I want you to type in the comments right now, God, redeem my time. Don't overthink it, just do it. Because when you release that declaration, you're not just typing words, you're answering the call. You're stepping across the threshold. You're telling heaven, I'm ready to stop being a victim of Chronos and start living in kairos. And when you do that, chosen one, everything shifts. Because the question was never whether God could still use you. The question was always whether you would finally trust His timing over your regret. So what happens if you ignore this? What exactly will God pull back on January 13 and 14 if you choose fear instead of faith? Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you will change the way you see every closed door you've ever mourned. Now listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might make your blood run cold, but it will also set you free. The enemy has a script, and he runs it every single time God is about to do something massive in your life. He's been using the same playbook on you for decades, and you've been falling for it because you thought it was just life, just stress, just bad luck, just your nerves acting up again. But it's not. It's a setup. Let me paint you a picture. It's January 12th, maybe the evening of the 13th. You're sitting in your living room. Everything feels normal. And then, out of nowhere, it starts. A phone call that turns into an argument. Your daughter snaps at you over something small. Your son doesn't call you back. Again. You check your phone 100 times. Nothing. and that old familiar feeling creeps in, the one that whispers, "They don't need me anymore, I don't matter." Or maybe it's your body, that pain in your chest that wasn't there yesterday, the shortness of breath, the racing heart at 2 a.m., when you're alone in the dark, scrolling through WebMD, convinced this is it, this is the one, and fear wraps around your throat like a rope. Or maybe it's the bills, the medical statement that came in the mail, the bank account that doesn't stretch as far as it used to, and suddenly you're spiraling, thinking about everything you should have done differently 30 years ago, every mistake, every regret, every door you walked through that you wish you hadn't. Does this sound familiar? Because I promise you, it's not a coincidence. The enemy loves to take a holy window, a moment when God is trying to speak, and stuff it so full of drama, so full of noise, so full of panic, that you can't hear a single word from heaven. He floods your mind with worst-case scenarios. He drags up memories you thought you buried. He sends people into your life at exactly the wrong time to trigger exactly the wrong emotions. And here's the part that should make you furious. He does this on purpose. He knows January 13 and 14 are marked on heaven's calendar. He knows God has been circling these days for you. So, what does he do? He creates chaos. He creates distraction. He makes sure you're so emotionally exhausted, so spiritually drained, that when God whispers, you can't hear him over the noise. This is spiritual warfare at its most calculated. And if you're a senior, if you've lived 60, 70, 80 years on this earth, you are his prime target. Because you carry wisdom, you carry prayers that have been marinating in the spirit for decades. You carry authority that younger generations don't even know exists yet. And the last thing hell wants is for you to step into that authority on January 13 and 14. So he sends the triggers, the sleepless nights, the racing thoughts, the feeling that you're invisible in your own house, the crushing loneliness even when people are around, the memory of your worst failure playing on repeat like a broken record. He whispers, "You missed your chance. It's too late for you. God's moved on. You're too old. You're too tired. You're too broken." But here's what you need to understand. This isn't just anxiety. This isn't just old age catching up with you. This is a spirit of distraction, a spirit of fear, a spirit designed to keep you locked in the same emotional prison you've been living in for 20, 30, 40 years. And it's operating on overdrive right now because hell is terrified of who you're becoming. Let me say that again so it sinks in. If January 13 and 14 suddenly turn chaotic for no logical reason, if everything seems to fall apart all at once, if the drama ramps up and the fear gets louder and the distractions multiply, it might not be a sign that God is punishing you. It might be proof that hell is panicking, because they see what's coming. And they know if you make it through these 2 days with your focus on heaven, if you refuse to take the bait, if you stay aligned, something is about to break open in your life that they can't stop. Proverbs 16:4 says, "The Lord has made everything for his own purposes, even the wicked for a day of disaster." That means even the chaos has a purpose. Even the enemy's attacks are confirming that you're exactly where you need to be. So if you're sitting there right now and you can already see this pattern in your life, if you can already feel the setup starting to unfold, I need you to do something. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend it's not happening. Face it head on. Type in the comments right now, "I see it now." That's you refusing to be blind anymore. That's you calling out the script. That's you breaking the cycle. Because once you see the pattern, it loses its power. And that's exactly what the enemy doesn't want. So the question is no longer whether this is real. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let January 13 and 14 pass in chaos, distraction, and fear? Or are you going to stand firm, guard your peace, and listen for the voice of God cutting through the noise. Now listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is going to flip everything you've been taught about how God tests his people. You've been told your whole life that when God tests you, you need to do more, pray harder, fast longer, show up earlier, prove your faithfulness, run faster, work harder. And if you don't, you fail. But chosen one, what if I told you that the real test God is giving you on January 13 and 14 is not about doing more at all? What if the final warning is this: stop performing, or you'll miss what I'm trying to give you, the rest test. That's what heaven is calling it. And most believers fail it because they don't even know it exists. Let me paint you a picture. When a surgeon walks into the operating room, what's the bravest thing the patient can do? Fight? Thrash around? Try to help the doctor cut? No. The bravest thing that patient can do is lie completely still. Surrender. Trust. Let the anesthesia do its work and go to sleep while skilled hands fix what they cannot reach themselves. That's what January 13 and 14 are. These are not the days to prove how spiritual you are. These are not the days to run around trying to earn God's approval. These are the days to lie still on God's operating table and let him fix what you've been too exhausted to reach on your own. And I know what you're thinking right now. I can hear it. You're sitting there saying, "But I feel so weak. I feel so useless. I don't have the strength I used to have. I can't fast like I used to. I can't pray all night like I did 20 years ago. My knees don't bend the same. My voice gets tired. I feel like I'm failing God because I can't do what I once did." Dear one, listen to me. In surgery, the weakest person in the room is the one being transformed the most. The surgeon doesn't need you to be strong. He needs you to be still. Your weakness is not disqualifying you. Your weakness is positioning you for the deepest work God has ever done in your life. Psalm 46:10 says it plain as day: "Be still and know that I am God." Not work harder and prove that I am God. Not perform better and earn that I am God. Be still. That's the command. And it's one of the hardest things a human being can do, especially when you've spent your whole life thinking love has to be earned. But here's where it gets even deeper. You think this rest test is something you haven't started yet. You think you're going to fail because you don't know how to rest. But chosen one, can I tell you a secret? You've already started passing it. The fact that you're here right now, listening to this quiet message instead of chasing the next loud prophet screaming doom on the internet, that's proof. The fact that you didn't click on the flashy thumbnail promising instant breakthrough, but you chose stillness, depth, the sound of a voice trying to lead you back to your own soul, that's evidence you're already leaning into rest. The fact that tonight, while the world is spinning in chaos, you locked the door, you sat down in your living room with God, and you said, "Speak, Lord. I'm tired of the noise." That is the rest test. And you're passing it right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Heaven isn't asking you to climb a mountain on January 13 and 14. Heaven is asking you to stop climbing and let God carry you to the top while you sleep in his arms. That's divine anesthesia. That's the surgery of grace. And the only way you can fail it is if you refuse to lie down. Think about it like this. There's a storm raging outside your house right now. The wind is howling. The trees are bending. The world is screaming that the sky is falling. But you walked inside. You locked the door, and you sat down in the living room with a cup of tea and the presence of God. The storm can't touch you in here, not because you fought it, but because you chose rest over reaction. That's what separates the chosen from the crowd. The crowd runs into every storm trying to fight it. The chosen lock the door and sit with God until he tells them it's time to move. So here's what I need you to do right now. And I mean right now. If you're willing to let God operate on the inside of you over these next 2 days, if you're willing to stop performing and start receiving, I want you to type this in the comments like you're signing a covenant document. Lord, I submit to your rest. Don't type it if you don't mean it. But if you're tired, if you're ready, if something in your spirit just broke open and said, yes, I need this, then type it. Let heaven see your signature. Let the angels witness your surrender. Because what's coming next, chosen one, is going to require you to be whole. And the only way to get whole is to let the surgeon do his work. The question is, are you brave enough to be still? Now listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is going to flip everything you've been taught about how God tests his people. You've been told your whole life that when God tests you, you need to do more, pray harder, fast longer, show up earlier, prove your faithfulness, run faster, work harder, and if you don't, you fail. But chosen one, what if I told you that the real test God is giving you on January 13 and 14 is not about doing more at all? What if the final warning is this: stop performing, or you'll miss what I'm trying to give you? The rest test, that's what heaven is calling it, and most believers fail it because they don't even know it exists. Let me paint you a picture. When a surgeon walks into the operating room, what's the bravest thing the patient can do? Fight? Thrash around? Try to help the doctor cut? No. The bravest thing that patient can do is lie completely still. Surrender. Trust. Let the anesthesia do its work and go to sleep while skilled hands fix what they cannot reach themselves. That's what January 13 and 14 are. These are not the days to prove how spiritual you are. These are not the days to run around trying to earn God's approval. These are the days to lie still on God's operating table and let him fix what you've been too exhausted to reach on your own. And I know what you're thinking right now. I can hear it. You're sitting there saying, but I feel so weak. I feel so useless. I don't have the strength I used to have. I can't fast like I used to. I can't pray all night like I did 20 years ago. My knees don't bend the same. My voice gets tired. I feel like I'm failing God because I can't do what I once did. Dear one, listen to me. In surgery, the weakest person in the room is the one being transformed the most. The surgeon doesn't need you to be strong. He needs you to be still. Your weakness is not disqualifying you. Your weakness is positioning you for the deepest work God has ever done in your life. Psalm 46:10 says it plain as day. Be still and know that I am God. Not work harder and prove that I am God. Not perform better and earn that I am God. Be still. That's the command. And it's one of the hardest things a human being can do, especially when you've spent your whole life thinking love has to be earned. But here's where it gets even deeper. You think this rest test is something you haven't started yet. You think you're going to fail because you don't know how to rest. But chosen one, can I tell you a secret? You've already started passing it. The fact that you're here right now, listening to this quiet message instead of chasing the next loud prophet screaming doom on the internet, that's proof. The fact that you didn't click on the flashy thumbnail promising instant breakthrough, but you chose stillness, depth, the sound of a voice trying to lead you back to your own soul, that's evidence you're already leaning into rest. The fact that tonight, while the world is spinning in chaos, you locked the door, you sat down in your living room with God, and you said, "Speak, Lord. I'm tired of the noise." That is the rest test, and you're passing it right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Heaven isn't asking you to climb a mountain on January 13 and 14. Heaven is asking you to stop climbing and let God carry you to the top while you sleep in his arms. That's divine anesthesia. That's the surgery of grace. And the only way you can fail it is if you refuse to lie down. Think about it like this. There's a storm raging outside your house right now. The wind is howling, the trees are bending, The world is screaming that the sky is falling, but you walked inside, you locked the door, and you sat down in the living room with a cup of tea and the presence of God. The storm can't touch you in here, not because you fought it, but because you chose rest over reaction. That's what separates the chosen from the crowd. The crowd runs into every storm trying to fight it. The chosen lock the door and sit with God until He tells them it's time to move. So here's what I need you to do right now, and I mean right now. If you're willing to let God operate on the inside of you over these next 2 days, if you're willing to stop performing and start receiving, I want you to type this in the comments like you're signing a covenant document. Lord, I submit to your rest. Don't type it if you don't mean it, but if you're tired, if you're ready, if something in your spirit just broke open and said, yes, I need this, then type it. Let heaven see your signature. Let the angels witness your surrender, because what's coming next, chosen one, is going to require you to be whole. And the only way to get whole is to let the surgeon do his work. The question is, are you brave enough to be still? Chosen one, let me ask you something. Have you been feeling different? Not sick, not broken, just off. Like something inside you is shifting and you can't quite name it? That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. God doesn't always speak in thunder. Sometimes He speaks in symptoms. And if you've been experiencing even 2 or 3 of the things I'm about to describe, you need to understand something. Heaven is circling your house right now. Your life is under construction, not under condemnation. So I'm going to give you 7 signs, 7 specific, undeniable markers that January 13 and 14 are holy days for you. And I want you to keep count, because by the end of this, you're going to know exactly where you stand. Sign number 1, unusual stillness or tiredness. You've been feeling exhausted, haven't you? Not the kind of tired you get from working too hard. This is different. It's like your whole body just wants to sit down and be quiet. You feel like you can't do much. And maybe you've been judging yourself for it. Maybe you've been thinking, I'm just getting old. I'm slowing down. I'm losing it. But listen to me. That's not age. That's divine anesthesia. God is putting you under so He can operate. He's slowing you down because if you kept moving at your old pace, you'd miss what He's trying to do. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That exhaustion, it's not your enemy, it's your assignment. Sign number 2, random old memories surfacing. You've been thinking about things you haven't thought about in years. Childhood moments, old heartbreaks, people you used to know, conversations from decades ago. And they're not just passing thoughts, they're vivid, they're heavy, they're interrupting your day. You think that's your mind playing tricks on you? No, God is reopening files. He's bringing up what was never fully healed so He can finish the work. Jeremiah 30:17 says, "I will restore health to you, and your wounds I will heal." Every memory that surfaces is a wound God is preparing to close. Don't push them away. Let Him work. Sign number 3, strange bodily sensations, pressure in your chest, weight on your forehead, heavy eyes, deep sighs that come out of nowhere. You take a breath, and it feels like you're trying to move a mountain. Your doctor says you're fine, but something feels off. That's not anxiety. That's your nervous system resetting. The Bible says in Romans 12:2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." But did you know your body has to catch up to that transformation? What you're feeling is old stress leaving, old trauma unwinding. God is rewiring you from the inside out. Sign number 4, odd messages or silence from certain people. Someone you haven't heard from in months suddenly texts you, or someone who used to call every week has gone completely silent, and you can't figure out why. You think maybe they're mad at you, maybe you did something wrong. But here's what's really happening. God is rearranging your relational orbit. He's pulling some people closer and pushing others back. Not to hurt you, but to position you. Proverbs 18:24 says, "There are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother." God is sorting out who's real and who's just taking up space. Sign number 5. Small interruptions. Plans keep falling through. Appointments get cancelled. You were supposed to go somewhere, but it didn't work out. So you ended up at home again, and you're frustrated because you feel like nothing's going right. But what if nothing's going wrong? What if God is rescheduling your life on purpose? What if He needed you home, quiet, alone with Him, so He could speak without interference? Isaiah 30:21 says, "Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" Sometimes God has to cancel your plans so you can hear His voice. Sign number 6. Repeating numbers, phrases, or Bible verses. You keep seeing the same time on the clock. 11, 11, 3:33, 12:34. Or you hear the same phrase on TV, in a conversation, and then in a sermon, or a Bible verse keeps showing up everywhere you turn, and you think, "Am I going crazy? Why does this keep happening?" You're not crazy. That's pattern confirmation. God is trying to get your attention. Numbers 23:19 says, "God is not a man, that He should lie. When He repeats Himself, it's because He means it." Pay attention. Sign number 7. A quiet, unexplainable peace amid all of this. Here's the strangest one. Despite everything, despite the exhaustion, the memories, the pressure, the interruptions, you feel okay. Not happy, not excited, but okay. Like somewhere deep inside, you know you're going to be fine, and you can't explain why. That's not denial, that's divine assurance. Philippians 4:7 says, "The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds." It's supernatural, and it's proof that God is holding you. Now listen to me. How many of these 7 have you been feeling? Put the number in the comments right now. 1, 3, all 7. Don't skip this. That's not for the algorithm. That's for agreement. It's you saying out loud, "I see what you're doing, Lord." Because if even 2 or 3 of these signs are showing up, you need to understand, you're not falling apart, you're being rebuilt. And these next 48 hours are the final stage of preparation before God unveils what He's been working on in secret. So, the question is, are you going to ignore the signs, or are you going to lean in and let Him finish what He started? Now listen to me closely, chosen one. This isn't theory anymore. This is your moment. And I'm about to give you something practical, something you can hold on to like a rope in the dark, because God doesn't just speak in riddles and mysteries. He speaks in assignments. And over the next 48 hours, He's giving you 3 of them. These aren't heavy, these aren't complicated, but they are sacred. And if you complete them, something inside you will shift that no sermon, no podcast, no prayer line could ever touch. This is between you and heaven now. Let me ask you something first. How many years have you been waiting for God to do something big in your life? How many decades have you spent asking Him to move, to heal, to restore, to answer? And maybe you've wondered, does He even hear me anymore? Am I too old for miracles? Is my season over? No, it's not over. But here's what I've learned after 50 years of walking with people through their darkest valleys. God doesn't move when we beg. He moves when we obey. And obedience doesn't always look like fasting for 40 days or praying through the night. Sometimes obedience looks like 3 small, deliberate acts of surrender. That's what these next 48 hours are about. Surrender, release, realignment. So, here's your first assignment. And I need you to take this seriously, because this one alone could change everything. Assignment has shown. 1 holy hour of stillness. Sometime between now and the end of January 14, I want you to find 1 hour. Just one. No TV, no radio, no phone calls, no grandkids running around. Just you and God. If you can't do a full hour at once, break it into 6 10-minute segments. That's fine. But I need you to sit in complete stillness and say these words out loud. Lord, I'm on your table. Do what only you can do. That's it. You don't have to perform. You don't have to cry. You don't have to feel something supernatural. Just say it. Because when you put yourself on God's table, you're telling him, I'm not in control anymore. You are. And I trust you to do the surgery I've been avoiding. Let me tell you why this matters. Ecclesiastes 3-7 says there's a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Most of your life, you've been speaking, praying, asking, declaring, claiming. And that's good. But right now, God needs you to stop talking and start listening, because he's been trying to whisper something to you for months, and the noise of your fear has drowned him out. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is warfare. When you sit in silence before God, demons panic, because they know what happens when a child of God finally gets quiet enough to hear the Father's voice. Everything changes. Now here's your second assignment, and this one's going to cost you something. Assignment #2, 1 act of release. I want you to find one thing, one physical object in your home that represents a regret, a wound, or a memory you've been holding on to for too long. It could be an old letter from someone who hurt you, a photograph of a season you can't let go of, a piece of jewelry tied to bitterness. Maybe it's not even an object. Maybe it's a name you've been rehearsing in your head every night for 20 years. And I want you to release it. Throw it away. Burn it if you have to. Or if it's a person, I want you to kneel down, say their name out loud, and pray this prayer. God, I let this go. I give you the right to handle it. I will not carry this into my next season. Do you know what Hebrews 12:1 says? It says we are to lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily entangles us. Not some weights, every weight. And that includes the weights you think you're entitled to carry, the grudges you think are justified, the pain you think defines you. God is not asking you to forget what happened. He's asking you to stop letting it dictate what happens next. Because if you walk into your breakthrough still dragging your past, you'll sabotage the very thing you've been praying for. And here's your third assignment. This one's about planting, not letting go. Assignment #3, 1 seed for the future. I want you to do something that declares to heaven, I still have hope. I still believe my story isn't over. Write a short note or prayer to a grandchild, even if they're not born yet. Start a journal and label it, My New Beginning. Or open your Bible to Psalm 27 or Psalm 91 and read it out loud, slowly, like you're signing a contract with God. Because that's what this is. It's a covenant. You're saying, Lord, I'm not done. I'm not checked out. I'm still here. And I'm still trusting you for what's next. Psalm 92:14 says the righteous will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Fresh, green. That's not language for people who are finished. That's language for people who are just getting started. So let me ask you now, are you willing? Are you willing to do these 3 things over the next 48 hours? Because if you are, I want you to write in the comments right now, I accept my 48-hour assignment. And if this message is already stirring something deep in your chest, hit that like button. Not for me, but as a signal to heaven that says, I agree, I'm in, I'm ready. Because, chosen one, this isn't about following a formula. This is about folding away the old coat you've been wearing for too long and putting on the new one God's been holding out to you. It's about signing a new lease with heaven for the rest of your years. And when you do, everything shifts. The doors he's been holding shut will swing open. The promises he's been protecting will be released. And the life you thought was over will rise again like Lazarus walking out of the tomb. But it starts here. It starts now. It starts with you saying, yes, chosen one, I need you to stop everything right now. Put your hand over your heart. Feel that beat? That rhythm is not random. That is the drumbeat of destiny still pounding in your chest. And if you can feel it, you are not finished. You are being summoned. Right now, in this very moment, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture heaven's courtroom, not the courtroom of judgment you've been taught to fear, but the courtroom of coronation. The room goes quiet. The angels who have been watching your journey, who have recorded every tear, every sleepless night, every whispered prayer you thought no one heard, they lean in. The judge stands, not to condemn you, to crown you, and your name is being called, not for punishment, for promotion. Do you hear it? Because January 13 and 14 are not dates of dread, they are dates of decree. Heaven is waiting to see if you will step forward and receive what has already been written about you before the foundation of the world. Now, listen to me carefully. I'm about to give you a series of declarations, and I don't care if you're sitting in your living room alone, if your voice shakes, if it feels strange. I want you to say these words out loud, because when you speak them, you are not just reciting words, you are engraving truth into your spirit. You are answering heaven's call. Say this with me. I am not late. I am right on time. Say it again. I am not late. I am right on time. The enemy has been lying to you for years, whispering that you missed your window, that your best days are behind you, that you're too old, too tired, too broken. But Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Your season is not over. It is shifting, and you are standing in the exact moment God ordained for you. Now say this. I am not being punished. I am being prepared. Every closed door you've mourned, every loss that crushed you, every delay that frustrated you, it was not punishment, it was preparation. Joseph was not being punished in the pit. He was being prepared for the palace. David was not being punished in the wilderness. He was being prepared to wear a crown. And you, chosen one, you were not being buried. You were being planted. Say this next one slowly and let it sink deep. My gray hair is my crown, not my shame. Proverbs 16:31 declares, gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life. You have survived wars that others couldn't. You have endured betrayals, losses, heartbreaks, financial storms, health battles. You have outlived people who swore they would bury you. And every silver strand on your head is a medal of honor. You are not fading. You are being crowned in front of a watching world. Now say this with authority. My scars are my credentials, not my disqualification. The church lied to you when it said you had to be perfect to be used. Jesus showed his scars to prove his resurrection. Your scars are not proof of failure. They are proof of survival. They are your testimony. They are the evidence that hell tried to take you out and failed. Every scar is a sermon you didn't have to preach with words. It preaches itself. Chosen one, let me speak something over you that you need to hear. God did not keep you alive into your 60 seconds, your 70 seconds, your 80 seconds, just so you could watch game shows and wait to die. He did not preserve your life through surgeries, through grief, through financial ruin, through loneliness, just so you could fade quietly into the background. You are not an afterthought in God's kingdom. You are a pillar in your bloodline. You are a walking testimony that the faithfulness of God does not expire with age. You are the one hell could not kill. Do you understand what that means? The enemy threw everything at you: sickness, poverty, betrayal, despair, and you are still here, still breathing, still believing. That is not luck. That is divine protection. That is covenant. That is proof that your assignment is not finished. And here is the line I need you to write on your heart and never forget. You are not a burden surviving your final years. You are a general waking up for your finest hour. The world looks at you and sees age. God looks at you and sees authority. The world sees limitation. God sees legacy. The world sees retirement. God sees redeployment. You are not winding down. You are being repositioned for the most powerful chapter of your life. This is why January 13 and 14 matter, because God is offering you a choice. Will you accept the crown He is holding out, or will you keep living like you are unworthy to wear it? Will you step into the courtroom and receive your decree, or will you stay silent and let the moment pass? If one sentence in this message has branded your heart, I want you to type that sentence in the comments right now. Do not hesitate. Do not second guess it. That is you engraving it into your own story. That is you saying, I receive this. I believe this. I am this. Because chosen one, the coronation has already begun. The only question left is whether you will bow your head and let God place the crown where it belongs. Chosen one, before you close this video, I need you to hear something that might change everything you've been carrying in your chest for the past hour. If you get angry on January 13th, if you cry on the 14th, if you forget your assignment or stumble or feel like you failed God's test, listen to me carefully. God is not crossing your name out of His book. He's not shaking His head in disappointment. He's not pulling back His love or His promises or His hand from your life. He's circling your name in red ink and whispering, "We'll try again, child. I'm not done with you yet." You see, this whole message wasn't about perfection. It was never about you getting it right on the first try. You've lived long enough to know that life doesn't work that way. You've stumbled before. You've missed deadlines. You've walked past open doors because you were too tired, too scared, too broken to see them. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still believing, still listening to a voice that refuses to let you go. That's not coincidence. That's covenant. Hebrews 13:5 says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." Never means never. Not on the 13th, not on the 14th. Not when you mess up, not when you doubt, not when you feel too old, too late, too forgotten. Never means God's hand is still on your shoulder, even when you can't feel it. So if these next 2 days feel overwhelming, if the weight of this word feels too heavy, I want you to do something. Come back to this message. Let it play while you rest. Let it wash over you like a warm blanket from heaven while you sleep, while you sit in your chair, while you stare out the window wondering if anything will ever change. Because these words aren't just mine, they're His. And He's been speaking them over you long before you clicked on this video. Now, I'm going to tell you something that most preachers won't say. What happens after January 14th is just as important as what happens during it. Because here's the truth. Most people will feel the shift, sense the movement, hear the whisper, and then 3 days later, they'll wonder if it was real. That's why I'm preparing another message for you. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through what usually happens on the other side of a prophetic window like this. The quiet miracles nobody notices, the small shifts that prove heaven really moved. The signs you'll see in your everyday life that confirm God heard you, saw you, and responded. You don't want to miss that, because if you think this message shook something loose in your spirit, what's coming next will help you recognize the harvest. But before you go, I need you to do 3 things. Not because I need anything from you, but because your obedience in these small acts will anchor what God just spoke. First, hit that subscribe button. Not for me, for you, so we can walk this journey together. So when the next prophetic word drops, you won't miss it. So when doubt creeps back in 3 weeks from now, you'll have a library of truth waiting to remind you who you are. Second, share this message with one person, just one. Someone who feels like time passed them by. Someone sitting in their living room right now thinking it's too late. Someone who needs to hear that God still has a final warning that sounds like love, not wrath. And third, before you scroll, before you stand up, before you move on to the next thing, whisper this out loud. Lord, I'm ready for these next 48 hours. Say it. Even if your voice shakes, even if you don't fully believe it yet, say it anyway. Because faith doesn't start with feeling. It starts with speaking. Chosen one, I want to close this the way Moses closed his blessing over Israel. The way the priests blessed the people before they walked into battle. The way your grandmother probably prayed over you when you were small and the world still felt safe. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face shine upon your weary heart and give you peace that doesn't make sense in the middle of chaos. May these next 2 days, January 13th and 14th, not be a deadline, but a doorway. May they be the beginning of the chapter you thought you were too old to live, too tired to write, too broken to believe in. And may you wake up on January 15th and realize that what you thought was the end was actually the turning point. In Jesus' mighty, unshakable, never-failing name. Amen. Now go, rest, breathe, and when the 13th comes, don't be afraid. Heaven is already there, waiting for you with open arms.